he just said, "Get out." And as I walked to the door, I walked out, I turned around and the door hit my face. And I got in my car and I drove to the nearest park, just the one right over there with the skate park.
Yeah, it's looking good, man.
And
hey guys, welcome back to the Financial Couple. Today we have our first guest here, Andrew. Thank you so much for having us.
yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, so he's actually an insurance broker. So today we're just going to be going over a few questions just to get to know him. And at the end, we'll show you guys some numbers, some facts, and hopefully that will motivate you to keep going. So, man, thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it. You're the first guy that we bring into our channel, our small channel.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, small is an understatement, man. Don't kid yourself. I imagine you guys have way more followers than it really appears because people just watch that little view button.
True.
So you got this, man. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. So tell us your story, exactly how you started. I know that before we started recording, we talked about you going to school and all that. If you can just summarize that a little bit and then just,
Yeah. So I'm 24 now. Basically, with my really career started 19. I was in college, and I just got to the point in my life where I'm watching all these guys on stage teach me about how to be a CEO or a CMO or a CFO, and all I'm thinking to myself is, while they're on stage, where's the guy that hired them? Like, I want the guy who was in his garage, on the phone, door knocking businesses. He's probably on a beach somewhere, and these guys are out here teaching about how they ran his business.
True.
And so I was like, I want to learn from that. And so I just got to the point, I was doing pre-med, pre-business, ended up kind of getting to the point where I really wanted more for my life. And I knew I had all the belief in myself to go do it. And I just got 19, read 3 books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad's Cash Flow, and Think and Grow Rich, all in 1 week. And it significantly changed my mindset about where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And so in February of 2015, I was at the U of A for about 3 semesters and decided to drop out of college. Now, the U.S. government didn't like that very much. I was on a full ride grant, and it went from being completely debt-free to owing $12,000 the next day.
Wait, you had your school paid for?
I had my school paid for and a 4.0 GPA, and I walked out.
Wow. Because, in my case, and I know we talk about this, but I left with 23,500, which actually we have a video on that, which will be appearing right here for you guys to go watch it. But, man, I didn't know that about you. Like, you had a 4.0, everything paid for.
So I was doing very well in school. It was easy. It wasn't hard. And I got to the point where I just really started to slack off in class because I would go to school and I would go to work in the mornings, and I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I would go to school until about 12 or 2. Then I would go take my classes from about 4 to 8, get out at 8, and then I would go do side hustles and just learn and listen to audios. Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, all these major, guys who teach motivational speaking, entrepreneurship. And, I started slacking off in school, just skipping tests, skipping exams, not really caring. And it just got to the point for me, I was like, all of my energy, I need to watch where my passion is. And while it started really going away from school and being good at that to where I had a lot of engaged energy in pursuing, a new career in entrepreneurship, I just decided to leave what I had over there and jump full blown into here. Now, it came with its consequences. I went from no debt, making $1,500 a month, doing okay, to next day owing $12,000. To calling the government and setting up a payment plan where I had $600 a month in student loans I had to pay for the next 2 years. And then in about February, March, I ended up getting a call from my dad. And I remember him telling me, I'm at work at this point. He says, "Drew, I need you to come home." I said, "Okay, I'm at work." He's like, "Yeah, but I need you to come home right now." So I go to my boss, tell him I'm going to leave for the day and I got to go take care of something at the house. And as I'm driving home, I just got this pit in my stomach that started. Something was telling me, my dad found out I'm going to school, and I knew I was going to get the talk of, "Andrew, you're going back. Don't miss out. Why are you doing this to yourself?" Because my family, it came from, dad was born and raised in New York City. My grandma and uncle both of them worked their butts off. Grandma cleaning apartments, and my uncle was he was the maintenance guy for the apartments, and brought everybody over from the Dominican Republic.
Wow.
So my dad is like, the only thing you can do is just go get your degree and you'll be fine.
It's like, go make us proud after.
So I get home, and I remember walking in the door. And I don't know why you would drop out of college. What overcame you? What were you possibly thinking? And I said, Dad, I just have a new dream. Like, I have something else that I want for myself. He says, well, you're going back to school. I said, no, I'm not. And I remember him saying, no, Drew, you're going to go back to school. And when I told my dad no for a second time, I remember seeing the utmost amount of disappointment I've ever seen in his eyes. And at that moment, he stood up. He just said, get out. And as I walked to the door, I walked out, I turned around, and the door hit my face. And I got in my car, and I drove to the nearest park, just the one right over there with the skate park.
Yeah, it's looking good, man.
And what hurt the most wasn't the fact that I had nowhere to go. It wasn't the fact that, my family shut me out. It wasn't the fact that I was going to have to figure everything out. What hurt the most was that David, my family didn't believe in me as much as I believed in myself.
Yeah.
So events in your life will either make you or break you, and you got to make a decision as to where you want to go. And so I could have turned around, gone to my dad, apologized, and called it good, right? Gone back to school, done exactly what he wanted, be a plastic med surgeon, or, go into business and be a good little soldier for whoever it was. But I said I was going to do it. I was going to put the passion, belief that I had for myself and prove so many people wrong. And so you figure it out. I've showered in gas station bathrooms, slept in my car. You figure things out. And when you get put in a position where you're getting calls from debt collectors that you owe them money, but they like to call you and remind you that you owe them money.
So they just fully kicked you out after that was the day that.
If I wanted to be a big boy, I was going to have to go and make big boy decisions. I was going to have to, boom, right out the parenting umbrella. You're on your own.
How much money did you have at that time?
I was making $1,500 a month. And then I went and I had a job. I was making $1,500 a month. I had $600 in student loans. Ended up getting an apartment with 0 credit score for another $600 a month. And I had $150 left over for food, gas, electricity, you name it.
What were you doing at that time? What was your job?
Stocking boxes in a warehouse.
Wow.
I would wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And basically it hit me to a point. I got in my car. I remember it's so vivid. Woke up at this time. It was so hard life-wise, and this was only an 8-month span, but it was so hard life-wise. I never had money to expend on groceries. I never had money to really fill up my gas tank at any one point. My cheat meal on my splurge day was going to Taco Bell. I remember I would walk from. I was over here at North Point, right next to the Tucson Mall. Yeah. I would walk 1.5 miles to the dollar store just to buy knockoff cornflakes. Yeah. And that was my meal that I ate pretty much all day. And I remember it was 5 a.m. I got in my car, and when I turned it on, I looked up, and the yellow gas light was on again. And I looked at my phone, and it got hit with another overdraft for the second time that night. And I have negative $70 in my bank account. My gas light is on. I have nothing but a half bowl of knockoff cornflakes in my stomach. I'm broke. I'm hungry. I'm tired. And I'm about to go to work where I have $150 left over for food, gas, electricity, you name it. And I feel like I'm stuck.
Yeah, you're trapped. You belong to someone else.
There's nothing I can do. And I would go to work. And I'm working with 40-year-olds who are all doing the same exact thing I'm doing and making $14, $15, maybe $20 an hour. I don't, care. And all of them are saying, what are you doing? You're never going to make it. Why you listen to that crap? Who do you think you're going to be? Why don't you just go full time and get benefits?
They didn't see your vision.
And they couldn't see what I had. And all I would do, I would just throw up my hoodie, put in my headphones, And I would just listen to Les Brown telling me, you gotta be hungry. I would listen to Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar saying, the seed will grow on fertile ground. And I remember Earl Nightingale saying, it's okay, you're just building your story. All those things. And I just told myself over and over and over that if I just keep going, it's going to get better. It didn't.
Oh, man.
8 months later, got to the point where I literally could not live on my own. I had to walk away from my lease and pretty much didn't pay the last little bit, just let them take the security deposit. And moved up, lived with my grandma, crashed on her couch. And then I tried 2 jobs. I worked at a call center. I had 2 weeks of training. And then I put in my 2-week notice, and I was there for a month. And then I went to Buckle, and I did sales there. I said I want to get into sales, but nobody would hire me. I couldn't get into car jobs. I was like, I'll be a car salesman. I don't care what it is. I just want commission. I want to be able to go out there and work on my work ethic and get paid that. So ended up moving up to grandma's, crashed on her couch, worked at Buckle for about 3 months. And in February, one of my mentors and life coaches in my life, Martin, he came up to me and he's like, Andrew, you should really take a look at insurance. I said, I don't really care to be Jake at State Farm. I'm okay. No thanks. I'm good. Don't worry about it. He's like, no. It's different. It's like we're not going door knocking. We're not going out there and pitching people policies, or you have to be the guy at family parties and church nobody wants to sit next to because it's all you talk about.
Sales, yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll take a look. He's like, Andrew, look, you knew me and Rita before we started insurance, and they built their agency in 2015. They went from making $50,000 a year to their first year they made $98,000, second year $286,000, third year surplus $450K in 3 years. Wow. And I said, if you guys are making that much money, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to say
lose.
no, right? So I go and I look at it, and I look at the numbers that they're making that they're writing, and I'm like, one $85 a month policy is going to pay $500 commissions. So, I sell 3 of those and I replace my income, and that guy, and they're going around the room who's been making sales. I'm making 3, 4, 5, 6. One of them was making 12 sales in a week.
Wow.
And I said, you guys are making this much money, I'm in. Like, I don't care. I'll figure it out, right? So I remember I got started. I got my insurance license January 2016, and I started going. And then they tell me, great, get your license. And then here's a conference ticket. You need to go to conference. And then also here's your lead expense. You have a lead expense of about, you want $250 a week. And I said, oh, really? Oh. Well, here's my bank account. It says negative $150 in it. They're like, I don't know where you expect me to get $1,000 a week, and then another $500 to fly to the East Coast and Raleigh, North Carolina to go to a sales conference. And they said, Andrew, if there's one thing we know about you, it's that you're resourceful. You'll figure it out. So I did. 3 easiest people I could close. Turned my license into an ATM card. Mom, grandma, and stepmom. So I sold them just life insurance policies. Nothing crazy. Made me about $1,500. Put 1,000 of that to buy marketing, and took 500 and flew this national conference. So fly out to this conference. The only thing that's going through my head is that if I want to make this work, I need one thing that I can work with. And that one thing that came was on stage. One of our owners said, this is a metrics business. And the only way the metrics beat you is if you let them beat you and you quit. He said, you just have to work on yourself. You have to make one more dial, to contact one more family, to go see them one more time, to go sell one more policy. And if you do that, you'll never lose. I said, I can work hard. So from that point, I called my boss on that Friday, told him I wasn't showing up on Monday, and I went full blown into this thing with no income. So made a leap of faith, started making 750 to 1,000 dials the next 2 weekends in a row. Couldn't tell you how many people I contacted.
1,000 dials?
1,000 dials. 30 hours on the phone. Just straight punching the number, calling, seeing how many people I could convert. Couldn't tell you what my ratios were. It was so terrible.
Lots of adrenaline just going through, just...
But by my 3rd week on the phone, I was getting better. Okay. I went 27 days without making a sale. February 28th, I remember Davina was her name. She had 2 young boys, 4 and 8, and they came home when I was selling the policy, and I finally sold the policy. It was $40 a month, disability, critical illness, waiver premium, everything I could possibly add onto the policy I did, and I got paid $200 the next week.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, it works.
By just calling someone, getting it for a sale, you made your income.
And it kickstarted. So my first month, I went from making 750, 1,000 dials to by the last weekend of February, it only took me 150 dials to get 15 appointments. That I took 27 days to make a single sale outside of my family, and I made $1,500 that month. March, I made $6,000. Month after that, $8,000. Month after that, $13,000. Paid off $12,000 student loan debt in 8 months. $18,000 of debt within a year, and then my second year in the business started really building a brokerage. It's the idea you have to have a mentor. Here's the thing about experience and wisdom, right? Experience is wisdom gained after the mistakes you've made. Experience is wisdom gained after the mistakes you've made. Or you can go to mentors who already have that experience and have them teach you exactly what they do, and then you just reciprocate. Why go try to create a wheel and watch YouTube videos when you can have somebody teach you right there? That's the key. Utilize other people's experiences to get what you want.
Yeah, I like to say that I personally like to learn from others people's mistakes, you know?
Exactly. Save you time.
Yeah.
So what happened was, I'm in business, and there's only really 2 ways to work in insurance. You either work with a company, like a captive agency like Mutual of Omaha, State Farm, etc. Or the other side, you actually work, with what's called an independent management office or under somebody's license, and you work under their umbrella. Well, I went that route. I got the mentors, I got the licenses, I got the appointments, I got a very easy entry into this business, and I was able to utilize their systems without me having to create my own. And then I just expanded on that, created a marketing system, recreated a recruiting system, learned how to really engage and learn about people and help them. That by my first year, we only did, it was just me. We did maybe $100,000 in sales, right? And which that's not a lot.
I know. Think about it, I'm like, man, $100,000, it's a lot to me, but I know when you have a team, you have to put everything.
In the insurance world, if I had to quickly summarize it, if you can get to $1 million, you're doing well. Like a lot of people work very hard to get to the $1 million round table. So $100,000, it's just monthly premiums. So that means there's $100,000 of monthly premiums, or about 100 clients paying $85 a month. Yeah. Wow. And so I did that my first year. I did pretty okay, made good money, paid off my debt. My second year, we ended up doing, I think it was like, I don't know, 200, 300,000. But that was my first year. My second year, we ended up going from that 100 to 200,000 range to 1.1 million.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
It was a huge jump. It was like 400% growth. Then my third year in the business, we finished off at 1.7. The one thing I think a lot of people don't really give themselves credit for is they overestimate what they can do in the short term, and they underestimate what they can do in the long term. Like they think, I want to make money now. I want to turn around and make $100,000, $200,000 this year, David. And you say, great, what's your plan? And they say, well, I'll go read a book.
Yeah,
it's like,
you need to take action.
Or I'll go pound the pavement. I'll go sell a ton of cars. That's great until you realize you don't have any hours left. The way to make money is you have to leverage other people's time. So where I could go out there and sell 100 clients in a year, well, if I can go find 5 other agents that can go sell 100 clients in a year, and now we have $500 in sales, or $500,000, right? So that's all we did. We had 12, 13 agents. We did 1.1 million. Last year we had anywhere between like 20 to 30, did 1.7. And now this year we are literally on our highest level of expansion, of growth. We got people who are building their own teams. The level of organization that we have is going to be massive, because it went from me just being the producer to me just being the coach and mentor and the builder, to where I was able to incite the same leadership into my agents. And now they're all building their own brokerages.
Wow.
And now it's just about a matter of building an empire.
And all that is under you. You're at the top.
Correct. The reason why it's not network marketing though is because I don't make a dime unless David goes out and sells policies to go out there and help families. So unless you're paying off your bills, nobody here makes any money.
All right.
You had say the same thing as real estate brokerage. You know, they may have an annual fee, but the broker gets a small percentage of all the sales that you make. Same thing here. Leverage other people's time.
So what's your long-term vision? Because I mean, like you just said, you know, like a lot of people say like, yeah, I want to make it, you know, I want to be a millionaire. But they feel that it only takes like 1, 2, 3 years. And in reality, it might take like 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you know. What's your long-term vision?
So I think you're exactly right that you can't, just what I said, overestimate what you can do in the short term and underestimate what could happen, you know, what, I'm 24 now, 20 years from now. Like when I'm 44, what's life going to look like? So for me, I have always had a goal of making $100 million in a year, in my lifetime. Like that $100 million mark, I don't care if it's a year or a lifetime, it takes me to 70 years old to do it. It's just a milestone that I have in my life, right?
You're committed to.
And I'm committed to getting there. But more importantly, after you get out of debt, and I would say if anybody's watching this and you're in debt, that's the number one thing that you need to eliminate out the gate. Because the more cash flow you can free up, it allows you to experiment in other ways, and other ideas, allow you to free up that cash flow, move it in directions that you want. Even if you lose $2, $5, $10, $15,000 here, as long as you don't have, you know, a credit card debt of 20% hanging over your head, you can just take the loss, 15 grand, it's whatever, money is money, but then find somewhere that you can do it. And I think the number one key is after you start making great money, what type of impact are you making is what you really need to focus on, because it's really about impact over income.
You know, just to wrap it up, what is like some advice that you would give someone that is probably in the same situation, you know? I know we're probably going to have viewers that, you know, probably living still with their parents, that they're going to school, maybe people that have been in the same situation as you, that they got kicked out of their house. What would you tell them?
Is be careful of where you're getting your motivation to continue from. For a long time, a lot of my energy and drive came from spite and just being mad. And I worked my butt off. I did fairly well on that, but it's not a healthy place to come from. Have your passion, have your drive come from a source that, 1, you know you're doing good, 2, you know it's for you, and 3, maybe it's for somebody that's really close to you and you want to make sure you impact them as well. That whatever you do, have it come from a healthy spot. Don't be like me. I think that's probably impeded some success that I could have had, was I was just so focused on proving people wrong. I wasn't really focused on how many people I'm probably impacting along the way and enjoying the journey.
Well, thank you so much. You know, we appreciate it. Where can we find you? You have any Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, we got a Facebook page, Jimenez Agency.
Okay. We'll be linking it down below.
Yeah, and we got websites, everything. Check us out.
Right. Yeah, we'll put them down below and also on the screen somewhere in here. And man, thank you so much. We appreciate it. So
thank you, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Guys, if you have any other questions, please link them down below. Follow us on Instagram @TheFinancialCouple, and we'll see you guys on the next video.